Well, the UAPDA, the Schumer Roundsville, looks like we're all getting excited for nothing. Well, I don't even know if excited is the right word. Having hopes. Well, looks like everything that we thought was going to actually be passed. And the question of why in the world would we think, as I was saying for quite a while, why do we think that anything would change from last year to this year? And then I was like, well, maybe because there's just been so much pressure on it now that it's like, let's just start the process. Not the case. Gutted once again. This time, it's even worse. Look at this. This is from Matt Ford. It says there's only been 3 UAP provisions made it into the manager's packet for the NDAA, which comes from Matt's show, The Good Trouble Show, and it is the Comptroller General of the United States review of all domain anomaly resolution office, the sunset of requirements relating to audits of unidentified anomalous phenomena historical record report, funding limitations relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena. This is pretty much a big nothing. So a lot of the other stuff that was proposed isn't going to make it in. But these 2 hearings, which we thought would lead into if there was anything notable in any of the hearings, which more likely would be the November hearing. What's it going to do now? I don't know. I think this is the end of this bill after this. I don't think they tried this in. This was like the big hope for everybody was this bill. Last year, again, remember, I always make reference to the Soul Foundation talking about this bill, when I was speaking to Steve Bassett before, Schumer and Rounds got the bill gutted the first time. This is how important this is. This is important. This is important. It'll get passed the next time around if it doesn't get passed this time. People don't want this stuff to come out. And there's more to it. And this was going to be the kind of the groundbreaking thing. This is nothing inside of these things. It's not even really mentioned. So the only thing that you got hope for right now is this hearing with the USO stuff. And what I hope is that they're as frustrated, people who are running this hearing, as we are about the fact that this is what got in there. And they say, let's bring the thunder to this thing. Let's really fire down some stuff. But who's to say that the same people aren't getting involved? The hearing that's coming with Gillibrand and the Arrow stuff, I think, is, as I mentioned many times over, is just basically to say, here's the new person who's doing this, and these cockamamie provisions that are in there right now. That's who Arrow is going to be handing this off to. But the other stuff isn't there. And so everybody else who has this stuff can have a sigh of relief that there's no one who's going to be knocking on the door. There's too much money that these programs have and these people have against a system that doesn't have a lot of budget in order to fight these things. It's like Rocky versus 17 Dragos. You're not going to do it. You ain't going to do it. Some people say, well, Rocky beat Drago. Not 17 of them. So anyway, once again, you look at this and it's just such a bummer. It's like all the stuff that was in there that was supposed to be in there. And let's just hear some of the comments. And some people are saying that the plus side, Arrow will be audited and placed into the microscope, after which Arrow completes the investigation itself. They'll declare that nothing amiss was found. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like I think Lou is doing more for disclosure than all these bills. None of that matters in the grand scheme. People are seeing orbs, a target. It's only a matter of time. 3-week provisions, all this. It's like, people are just, so all the calling, all the letters, everything was ignored. Of course they were ignored. This is all stuff that was just, the eminent domain clauses shouldn't have been included. People are bummed. People are bummed because there's nothing in there. And then don't even try. Don't even bother putting it in. Who cares about that stuff? Nonsense. What that person wrote, the letters meant nothing in the long run. No, they don't. That's why I always said I go back and forth on it. I said, people, I guess if you write to the congressmen who are working on this stuff, congressmen and congresswomen who are working on this stuff, and you write to them, they're like, this is the thing I'm asked about the most. And it's like the people do want to hear about it, but in the long run, the gatekeepers aren't letting this thing go. I have repeated this over maybe 100 times and now to exhaustion. the George Knapp quote of they are better at their jobs than we are at ours, because they've been doing this for so long. They don't want this stuff out. It ain't getting out. The stuff about seeing them at Target and all that stuff, it's just like, in the same way that they've had many of those classic cases of the farmers who saw it and then saw the jets afterwards. No, you didn't see any. There were no jets. We didn't have any jets. Oh, we did have jets, but they were chasing something else. Oh, they were chasing. No, they weren't chasing anything. They were doing this. It's like 17 different stories. So anyway, today's a bummer of a story. That's what it is. So how do you guys feel about it? Do you think that, as the commenter said, it's more about what's going to happen with, say, Lou Elizondo getting stuff out there, these hearings? The Congress is kind of a waste of time at this point, minus the hearings, obviously. That's not a waste of time. But this kind of stuff where trying to get bills passed and that is a waste of time. What do you think? Put your comments in there. Tell me exactly how you're feeling. Thanks for joining us each and every day here. Tomorrow we got UAP Tuesday coming up. It's our full hour-long show. If you want to support the show, you want to become a member today, please do join. If not, you can do it a different way. We tell you about one of our sponsors today, and that, of course, is BetterHelp. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. This episode of Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let me ask you, what are your self-care non-negotiables? What is it, that you never skip a leg day or therapy day? Because when your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Because even when we know what makes us happy, it is hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Therapy is very important. I've been in that position, man, when I haven't talked and I've let things bottled up, and it is not a good thing. You got to talk to people. And we've had people on our show that have said, listen, we've needed to speak to people. We had an opportunity to, and BetterHelp has been there for a lot of people very close in my life. Because if you don't know, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it is flexible, and it is suited to your schedule. All you have to do is you fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. You got to visit betterhelp.com/DTE today. You get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DTE.